Hey, what's up, guys? Build the Universe. And today I'm going to be doing the birth chart analysis of SZA. This was a recommendation by, I already forgot. N. Raven. So thank you to N. Raven for giving me this recommendation. And I'm happy to do this chart because I really don't know much about her. When I looked at her chart for a little bit last night, and I was going to do the chart reading last night, but I was tired. I was like, nah. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, how do you pronounce her name? And I was like, Seasons? And then just now I was calling her Ja. So I was like, let me look up how do you pronounce this girl's name. So it's SZA, S-Z-A. So let's move on. So I will tell you right now, the predominant planet in her chart is by far Jupiter. Because Jupiter is ruling her sun, Jupiter is ruling her moon, Jupiter is ruling her Mercury, and she has 2 planets in Sagittarius. Not only that, but let's look at the 9th house. Let's look at Jupiter's houses, which is the 9th and the 12th. She's got 3 planets in the no planets. She's got 2 planets in the 12th house. So, this is heavy Jupiter. So what is Jupiter? Jupiter is very wise. Jupiter is very intellectual. Jupiter is actually very kind, and Jupiter is very they take in they take a lot of shit from people, and because they are naturally what's called sattvic, which means that they are actually very nice people. So the other thing about Jupiter is that they are they have really good taste. So she's got Venus and Saturn. Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, yeah. So they have really good taste when it comes to art and music and fashion, and they know a lot about color, and they're good singers. They are very talented people, actually. And they work really hard. They're very hard workers, and they will be providers for their families. So, that's the good thing about these people, is that they take a lot of shit, and it sounds detrimental, which in some cases it is, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But the upside of being someone who is very impervious and very persevering, like Jupiter ruled people, is that they will they develop a really thick skin, and they just know how to make that money, and they'll do it, and they'll take a lot of shit in order to make that money for their family. So they're excellent providers. So going more deeply into Jupiter. So Jupiter is ruling her sun. And it's a star called Vishaka in Libra. So this star Vishaka was around, and people were talking about this star before Libra was even a constellation. So it's actually sitting, and before Libra was a constellation, people associated this star Vishaka with Scorpio, because it's technically the very front pinchers of the Scorpion's claws. But it also kind of serves as the very end of Libra. So nowadays, when I say nowadays, I mean the last 2,000 years since Libra has been a constellation. They associate the first half of this star with Libra, and the second half, or the very last part, with Scorpio. But anyway, regardless, it means that these people are very attacking. This is really good for business, because these people, what does the Scorpion do? I mean, people are scared of the Scorpion, It's a very feared animal. It knows how to attack. It knows how to hide and attack when necessary. But because it's in Libra, this makes them really good at business. This makes them very diplomatic. They know how to talk to pretty much anyone. They have a very good head on their shoulders. They are, like I said, they're providers. Now this star of Vishaka, this is what I will say. Very few times, very, very little times, but I have seen it. Very times, this is actually very like, kind of like a disturbing placement because these people take so much shit that they will kind of like suck the poison out of all their loved ones, which is very, valiant and very noble. But a lot of times they forget to spew it out. So they'll internalize other people's poison. So they'll get to a moment where they just completely lose their shit and they will turn into like monsters basically. Because it's from years of taking people's shit. And these people naturally are actually very supportive people. They're very they'll even kind of like massage your ego, and when they don't disagree, if they don't agree with you, Sun and Vishaka, they will kind of like, if they don't agree with you, they'll kind of massage your ego a little bit. Like they won't flat out say I don't agree with you, but they will kind of say like, yeah, I mean, I could see how that would work. You see how that's like a nice way of saying I don't agree with you? Like they'll say something like that. And it's also in the first Navamsha of Aries. So this is someone who is very, very, very pioneering. And this is someone who is very brave too. It's someone who will, like, if this person was a warrior and they're in war, they're the type of people that will go by themselves and be brave and just charge towards the enemy lines. So that's how brave these people are. But they're very beautiful too. And so I was thinking, moving on. So they're very beautiful too. A lot of them will have bigger eyes and very full lips, round cheeks. They will be very voluptuous. And this is what Jupiter does. Jupiter gives you body, and it gives you, what it does is it gives you a lot of health. It is when it's placed in right, it gives you a lot of health. So and the other thing is I don't know anything about SZA, and the only reason I looked her up was because I wanted to know how to pronounce her name. That tells you right there how little I know about her. And what I think she's a rapper, but she could be a singer too. I don't know. But the first video I saw was it said SZA receiving critique about her weight or something like that, which, because she's ruled by Jupiter so much, I did want to see where her actual Jupiter is. And it's in the 6th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's in the 6th house. So when Jupiter's in your 6th house, so 6th house is your enemies, and it's the workplace, and it's your health, and it's ruled by Virgo. So when Jupiter is in the 6th house, this actually does give you weight issues, because Jupiter is a big girl, right? But she's very kind and sweet, but she's a big girl. And when she's sitting in the house of health, Jupiter is very what was I going to say? Benefic. Jupiter is very benign. So on one hand, this gives her a really good constitution of health. And it's kind of one of those places where it's like, you're so healthy, you're fat. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's actually a good thing. So apparently people are critiquing her for her weight, when actually it's not even that. It's just that she's so healthy that she's got this extra padding. Because it suggests that she has a lot of health. And because 6th house rules the enemies, for Jupiter to be in the 6th house, it means that she always like triumphs over her enemies. And not because she's this fighter, which she could be. I have to look at the rest of her chart, but more so because she has a very good positive outlook on her enemies. I also have Jupiter in my 6th house. I've always had weight issues. And when it comes to my enemies, I actually prefer to bless them. I really don't like fighting with enemies. I don't like to fight in general. And to be honest, I actually pray more for my enemies than I do like my loved ones. So so I think it is because I've got this planet of blessings in my sixth house of enemies. And I wonder if she does the same thing too. If she doesn't really like to fight her enemies, it's more so she likes to um she'd rather bless them, you know. And you know, Virgo is a very spiritual person, if Virgo were, you know, personified. So I would think that she is actually a spiritual person who prays, and that she prays for her enemies too. So that's kind of gives me someone with a good heart. And because sixth house, which is enemies, like I just said, because it's in Gemini, and Gemini always means multiple. So wherever Gemini is, or the ruling planet Mercury, you can always bet that there's multiple something. So for her sixth house of enemies to be in Gemini, I would think that she has a lot of enemies. But this, because it's in Jupiter, it indicates that she blesses all of her enemies, and because of that, she never is falter to any of her enemies. Okay, so let's look at her moon. Her moon is in Aquarius in a star called Purva Bhadrapada. That is actually a very tough placement, not gonna lie. This actually does. So, okay, let's talk about the good stuff. So, again, it's another star ruled by Jupiter, even though it's in Aquarius. Saturn ruled Aquarius. On one hand, it does make her very beautiful. It can make her a feminine person. It can make her a very good singer. It can make her good at the arts. It can give her a good, endow her with good flair, good style. Jupiter also endows with money, so she could be very good with money. I mean, her sun and moon are ruled by Jupiter. So this is a woman who is very wise, actually. This is a very wise woman this is the energy I get from the chart. A very wise and like nice woman who kind of grew up or is always constantly under the umbrella of danger. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but it's like a really nice woman who is constantly, you know, surrounded by bad people or in bad situations. That's kind of the essence I get from this. So anyway, when your moon is in Bhadrapada, Purva Bhadrapada, those were the good things, that it can make you really, you know, really good style, make you really good with money. You're a nice person, this, and that. Now, the bad part about this part is that these people are karmically not bound to anything. That means, so that makes them, that's a good thing and a bad thing. So what does that mean? It means that if this person wants to do a lot of drugs, there's no karma to regulate them, which is interesting because Saturn is the karmic planet and it rules Aquarius, which is the house of this star. But karma doesn't really play a big role in this star. Or if you want to eat your ass off, you will continue eating and eating and eating, and karma will not be there to give you diabetes or to, you know, give you some type of health issue to let you know that you need to stop. What they'll do is karma will kind of relax and let you do you. So this is a very important part of a spiritual path for somebody. This is someone who is being tested on their own willpower. So these people, in essence, have the permission, the cosmic permission to be as naughty as they want to be as bad a person as they want to. And Jupiter is a secret gangster. So Jupiter is, like I said, it's sattvic, which means that it's very kind and sweet and is very sacrificing for others. You know, it's almost like a pushover. But on the downside, when they're being pushed past their limit, they turn into a straight up gangster where they just lose mercy for everyone and they charge, you know. And so it's a very, very dangerous part, this star called Purva Bhadrapada, and it's sitting in Aquarius. And you know, it gives them the permission to be as bad as they want. And then karma will ultimately come at the very, very, very end. So For example, I know someone with Purva Bhadrapada who would constantly beat his wife and constantly cheat on his wife. And then finally at the end, karma came and then he learned to chill. Or let's say Chris Farley. Chris Farley had a major placement in Purva Bhadrapada and he ate his ass to death. You know what I mean? Because karma wasn't there to like regulate his behavior. It's the cosmic hall pass, you know? So he had to put it on himself to regulate himself so that he can be a pure person. You know, karma trims the fat for us. But with Purva Bhadrapada, this says you need to be the boss of your own actions. You need to be the boss of your own thoughts. I'm not going to help you. Like, if you want to do drugs till the day you die, I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you kill yourself. That's the crazy thing about this placement. I'm already at 15 minutes. I have so much more to say. So yeah, it's a very intense placement. And because it's the moon, this tells me that she gets this from her mom. Yeah, so let's move on. Oh, and the other thing is, I forgot to tell you, there was a case study done by the astrologer Claire Nakti, and she has found that a lot of women with this placement, this Aquarius placement with the star Purva Bhadrapada, they actually will be like femme fatale, so like very dangerous women. They will be very beautiful women, very smart, very intelligent. But they will be like, they'll convince like their husbands or their boyfriends to like kill for them, you know, like crazy, like exaggerated shit like that. I wonder if she's good with her hands because she has Mercury conjunct her sun, so I would gather that she's very creative. But I would also wonder if she's really good with her hands, if she's like a piano player or if she's a writer or if she is just really like anything with the hands. Is she good at tennis, good at pool? I wonder if she has good hand-eye coordination because Mercury rules the nervous system and the hands. So I wonder if she's got really good hand-eye coordinations. I wonder if she plays an instrument. The other thing is that her Rahu, which is the North Node, it's actually in the first house. So, you know who, this is the exact placement of Selena. Selena also has her Rahu in her first house, and it's even the same star. It's the star of Dhanishta. So I wonder, and Dhanishta, that's a star in Capricorn. So she has her North Node in Capricorn. So what's interesting is this certain star in Capricorn, Marilyn Monroe has this star. What's her name? Cindy Crawford has this star. Gian Garangi had this star. Like a lot of really, really like ultra beautiful people have this star, especially in a woman's chart. This will give you like model status. So that's interesting. So she's got a Dhanishta North Node in the first house of the body, of the identity, and so did Selena. Exactly the exact same spot. The other person who has Rahu or North Node in the first house is Rihanna. And the other person who has Rahu in the first house was, I just did someone's chart. I'm pretty sure it was, what's that white girl's name? Dua Lipa. So, as you can see, there's a lot of, basically what I'm saying is this is a great indicator for fame because Rahu is creativity and it's also illusion, and that's exactly what fame is. You know, we only see the surface area, we only see the body, but we don't really see within the body. So for Rahu to be in the first house of the body, this actually can be a great indicator for fame. And the three biggest indicators I've seen for fame is Rahu in the first. Remember, Rahu means North Node. So Rahu in the first, Rahu in the 10th, and Moon in the 12th. So she has Rahu in the first house, which I think is very interesting. The other thing that I would say that might give her weight issues or just kind of going up and down with her weight, is the fact that her moon is in the second house. So moon waxes and wanes, right? So when you're heavy ruled by the moon, this will give you a lot of breasts or a lot of hips, a lot of booty, a lot of, big eyes, like very circular, like body. Circular body. Like, when an artist draws something, they start out with the basic shapes and then kind of go from there. Like when you draw a moon ruled woman, you kind of do the same thing. You'll draw a lot of circles because it's a very voluptuous woman. And here's the other thing. Now, some of this stuff is like, I just sense danger in this chart. I don't know why. So the downside about moon is that moon is very emotional, and it's so emotional that it can kind of turn to drinking or drugs. And so I see that it's in her second house. Second house is family life, the way you grew up. So with moon in the second house, this can tell me that there might have been a lot of spirituality. There might have been a great, like a lot of religion in the house. But honestly, because it's Puerto Bajapata, because it's Aquarius, it kind of gives me the feeling that there was a lot of drinking in the house, that there was a lot of alcohol in the house, maybe some alcohol abuse in the house. So that I find interesting. Let's see. Okay. Moving on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm at 21 minutes. Why is this taking me forever? So she's got 3 planets in the 10th house. That's actually really, really another big quality, a big indicator for fame, because 10th house is your public persona. First house is your body, but 10th house is actually how people view you, like what people see when they see you. And so her sun is in the 10th house. That's like the best placement for the sun, is for it to be is in the 10th house. So she really shines when it comes to being on stage, because like I said, 10th house is the house of public view. It's the house that everyone sees. So it pretty much is the cosmic stage, right? So her sun shines the most when she's on stage. So this is actually a very, very good placement for being a performer. I don't know about fame, because I have sun in the 10th house as well. And I'm not famous, but it just means that they're very comfortable being on stage. They're very comfortable being in front of a camera. They're very comfortable doing artistic things. And she's got Mars in the 10th house. So Beyonce has her Mars in the 10th house. Rihanna has her Mars in the 10th house. Shakira has her Mars in the 10th house. So, and she has her Mars in the 10th house. Mars is a very sexual person, and Mars likes to be viewed. Mars has no problem being viewed for their body. So, remember I said Marilyn Monroe, Gia Garangi, Cindy Crawford. Remember I said they have a major placement called Dhanishta. Dhanishta is a star in Capricorn, but it's ruled by Mars. So these are all women that we look at, that we like to admire physically, and it's in Mars. Not only do we like to look at them, but they like to be looked at. They don't mind being objectified. So with Mars in the 10th house, this means that they have a very sexual presence to them. Now, here's the other thing. See, yeah, moon in the second house, man. I really do kind of see that as, you know what, honestly, I'm going to tell you what, I see a lot of indulgence in this chart too. Like someone who might do a bit of drugs. Hold on, it's 2:22. Hold on, real quick. So yeah, someone who might do a bit of drugs, drinking, marijuana, smoking, stuff like that. One, because Rahu is a very smoky planet. It's a very illusion based planet, and it's sitting in her first house. Moon can be an alcoholic, and it's sitting in her second house. Now here's the other thing. Venus is the planet of love, right? So Venus actually does really, really well in the 12th house. Venus actually is exalted in the 12th house. So she's got a good love life. She's very good to herself. Here's the only thing though. Venus in the 12th house, that 12th house is like, it's luxury, and it's sex and it's your desires. So for her Venus to be there, it means that she really, really enjoys. Also, it can be for fame. So she really, really enjoys the finer things in life. But also, 12th house can be drugs because Pisces is like other worlds, right? Pisces is otherworldly, and Pisces rules the 12th house. So her Venus being in the 12th house, it can mean that she really indulges in the senses. But also Saturn is here too. Saturn restricts. Saturn is karmic. Saturn makes you work for it. Like Saturn will not give you an easy hand up. Saturn makes you earn everything. So for her Venus and Saturn to be in the 12th house, it means that she has this great desire for luxury and for ingesting like alcohol, drugs, stuff like that. But it also means that Saturn will not let her give it to her for free. She has to go out and earn it. Yeah. It's 25 fucking minutes. 26 minutes. I mean, I think that's enough. Also, Denisha in the first house, it could mean that she wanted to grow up to be, yeah, famous, but also it could mean that she wanted to be a model. And that she's very talented in the arts. She got her 8th house in Virgo? Really? Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. So she has her 8th house in Virgo. I wonder if, and she's got her Jupiter in the 6th house. You know what these people are really good at? These people are really good at, like, being in the military. They're really good at serving humanity. They're really good at they could be great nurses. They could be good surgeons. They could be good at all that stuff because Jupiter in the 6th house for me is the hospital. And Jupiter is very blessing. So for her to be in a hospital, to work in a hospital, she could be a blessing for her patients. The other thing is, 8th house is blood and war and violence, but it's in Virgo, and Virgo is the servant. So what happens when you have mixed the servant with blood and war? You get a doctor, a medic, someone who's very serving, who wants to help people, but also someone who's comfortable with blood. So you get a doctor, you get a nurse. If they join the military, they will be a medic, or they just be in the military in general because they want to help people. This is also, if you got Virgo in the 8th house, you'll also be like on the front lines if you do join the military. Okay, guys, I've never done a chart reading this long, but there was a lot to say. Oh, also, just one more thing. Naturally, psychic. Oh, I didn't even go over her ascendant. Capricorn Uttarashada. Yeah, her ascendant, very beautiful. These women are very independent, and they have long hair. Beautiful hair. Long, thick, full hair. Which isn't fair because I knew that. I saw her already. But I'm telling you guys, like, women with a strong sun placement, they're very, very beautiful, high self-esteem women. They're very strong women. They're very independent, and when other women will either really look up to them because they're so independent and strong-willed, and or they'll really hate them because these women go after what they want unapologetically, and they're so beautiful that sometimes women hate them just because they're so beautiful. That's enough. I need to stop. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.